The last 4 years have been years of moving backward rather than forward. We are witnessing a virtual collapse of the economy with all its manifestations and ramifications, including unavailability of employment opportunities, the loss of jobs, low and starving wages and salaries, business closures and downsizing, demoralization and the lack of spirit of the public service, and a worsening state of public infrastructure, including government buildings and public roads. A deepening and rapidly spreading malaise has taken hold in our beautiful country, and it is getting worse. The most recent manifestation of this malaise is the inability of the government to pay salaries and wages for the month of August on time. This has been the second time that this is happening in 2012. Even during the difficult days of Ivan and Emily, the government then was able to pay salaries and wages on time. This is like an established business having to borrow to finance its operations, including paying workers' salaries. Such a business, if it does this, will not last long. Our country, therefore, is on the brink. True to form, the government acted in knee-jerk manner, demonstrating a complete lack of wisdom, foresight, and vision. In the end, it had to borrow from the National Insurance Scheme to pay salaries. And it did this by bypassing the Parliament of the country and issuing treasury bills. The question is, how long can this continue before the NIS and other financial institutions have no more money to lend or to refuse to lend to the government to pay salaries? My dear people, this is the situation that we now face in our country. Total economic and financial collapse is what we are facing. When the NNP government borrowed to build roads, bridges, schools, medical stations, and other public facilities, these same persons in government today run about complaining about debt. The roads, the bridges, the buildings built then were for the good of the country, and the construction provided many people with work and helped the economy of our country. Today, the government is not even maintaining these roads and infrastructure. Now many millions are being borrowed to pay salaries, including the salaries of the many unproductive persons who are on government contracts. I would want the Prime Minister to answer the question whether this is an example of good governance, whether good governance is exercised when public servants cannot get pay or salary increases, and you are still borrowing NIS money to pay unproductive people on fat contracts. It is clear that the government must have been aware of this looming situation well before the end of the month. In fact, the signs were there a long time ago, but true to form and consistent with its wanton disregard for the workers of this country, the situation was kept secret and unattended until the very last minute. This is a further demonstration of the lack of love and care for people which has characterized this government throughout its time in office. And while the government is attempting to disguise the fact that it cannot run the country, high-ranking party members and close supporters are gallivanting around, enjoying the little fat that is still left in the land.